Hi, fourth graders. Today's lesson focuses on customary units of capacity. You already learned in yesterday's lesson that customary means the type of measurement system. It's the system we use in the United States. The word capacity means how much something can hold or how much is inside of something. Our learning goal has two parts today. The first part says, I can estimate with customary capacity units. Those are units like cups, pints, quarts, and gallons. We'll learn a few others too. The second part says, I can compare the relative sizes of capacity measurement. For instance, that's like saying a cup of ice cream versus a gallon of ice cream are different. A gallon would be much bigger than a cup. A great way to understand capacity is to actually go to your kitchen. Things in your fridge and in your cabinets where you keep your cooking utensils have a lot to do with capacity. For instance, a gallon of milk or a quart of juice. Today we're going to be focusing on 4 units of capacity. The first unit is a cup. The next unit is a pint. The next unit is a quart. And the final unit is a gallon. Please add these to your notes. A cup is abbreviated C. Pint is abbreviated PT. Quart is abbreviated QT. And gallon is abbreviated GAL. You want to make sure that you use the abbreviations correctly. For instance, if you just were to use the letter G for gallon, G in the metric system actually means gram. You'll learn more about that in upcoming lessons. Another important unit of measure is a fluid ounce. A fluid ounce is a very small unit of capacity. It's spelled like this, fluid ounce. It's not to be confused with an ounce measuring weight. You'll be learning about that a little bit more tomorrow. A fluid ounce is actually abbreviated FLOZ period. I know it's a strange abbreviation. Many of the abbreviations for customary units are. A fluid ounce is very, very small. In fact, you might look at a can of soda and notice that it has 12 fluid ounces in it. So if you were to take that can of soda and divide it into 12 parts, that's how much a fluid ounce would be. If you're having a hard time thinking about the size of these particular units of measure, take a look at the top of your reteaching page. There's 4 pictures that help you identify about how much each of the units of capacity is equivalent to. Here's the picture that you'll find in your reteaching page. A cup often has 8 ounces in it. So we would start with 8 ounces. If I had 2 cups, they would fit in a pint. Then 2 pints would fit inside a quart. And then lastly, we would need 4 quarts to fit inside a gallon. You'll notice that the customary unit of measurement is a little bit tricky. Times 2, times 2, times 4. It's kind of tricky. It would be easier if it was all the same. But that's okay. I'm confident with some practice, you'll be able to learn the customary units of capacity and of all the customary units of measurement. Using this graphic, let's think of common everyday objects and about how much capacity they would have. First, let's think of a bathtub. If I had a bathtub, do you think it would be more likely to be 3 gallons or would it be more likely to be 30 gallons? Think of a bathtub. You're right. A bathtub would be much more likely to be 30 gallons. Now let's think of a bucket. Is a bucket more likely to be 1 gallon or is it more likely to be 10 gallons? A bucket is closer to 1 gallon. Let's think about a large aquarium tank. Is a large aquarium tank more likely to be 20 quarts, or would it be 200 quarts? Don't forget, you can always pause the video and think about it before we move on. A large aquarium tank would probably hold many, many quarts, probably close to 200 quarts. If you were to think about a home aquarium, it would be more likely that it would be 20 quarts. So depending on the situation, you might find objects that are the same but have different capacities based on their sizes. The other thing that can be a little bit tricky when it comes to units of capacity is sometimes there are more than one correct answer. For instance, if I were to think of a cat or dog's water dish, I could really measure that in cups, or I could measure in pints. They're close together, so you'll notice that there can be more than one correct answer in certain circumstances. With your parents' permission, I would recommend today or this weekend going into your kitchen and taking out several of these units of measure, and if possible, using water to fill up the various units of measure to help you visualize exactly how much capacity each holds. So for instance, you could take a measuring cup, fill it up, and then if you have an empty quart or pint from your groceries, you could rinse it out and see how many times you'd have to pour that cup into the pint or into the quart. And if it happens to work out too, you could also try that with a gallon. There are also some neat YouTube videos that also model these conversions. And last but not least, here's Mr. Garreau with his joke.
Hey, fourth graders, what unit of measurement do you use to weigh bones? Skeletons.
Okay, everybody, see you tomorrow.